Coming up, some schools are using technology to help keep students safe. Plus, FEMA will have a new acting administrator after the resignation of the agency's leader. And a West Virginia Supreme Court justice learned his sentence after being found guilty on federal charges.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning. It is 6:31 on Valentine's Day. I'm Will Puckett. Thank you for tuning into Mountain News This Morning. If you're heading out to your car, you're going to have to give yourself a little extra time as there's a layer of frost, at least there was on my car this morning. We also have a handful of school closings, so check those down below. A lot of them are for sickness, and so parents, make sure to check them there or head to WYMT.com for more. Let's bring in Brandon into the fold to give you a better breakdown of what to expect on this Valentine's Day. Brandon, good morning.
Good morning, my friend, and today should be fairly decent. Cold this morning, a few more clouds in the afternoon, close to 60, but the rain chances will hold off. If you have any plans, headed out to dinner, heading for maybe to go see a movie or something later this evening, you should be in pretty good shape. Let's go to Hazard this morning outside the WYMT studios, and you can see fairly quiet this morning. Maybe the first vestiges of the sun trying to climb over the hills there in the distance, but again, could be a little bit longer. We're looking at a clean sweep on live pinpoint Doppler radar. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s this morning. 28 Harlan, 27 Middlesboro, 29 there in London. That's some of the cooler spots. Jacksboro actually down to 25 now. 30 in Ashland and 30s everywhere else, but 39 in Monticello is that warmer air starting to creep in there across the region. Already 50 in Paducah this morning. A little bit extra needed for the coffee meter today, early anyway, and then temperatures will climb into those upper 50s, close to 60 this afternoon. Average high for this time of the year, 47 degrees. The rest of the forecast on the way here in just a few minutes. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, today is the one-year anniversary of the mass shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. Yesterday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis called for a statewide grand jury investigation into what he calls the Broward School District's failures in its response to the attack on the school in the handling of student safety and security issues.
This is something that is very serious, and I think that it's something that we're gonna look at and evaluate who they're holding accountable.
Now, flags have been ordered to fly at half-staff across the state for the one-year anniversary of the massacre. Yesterday in the nation's capital, the House floor fell silent in a moment of remembrance. Well, last month, the Florida Commission released a report that mentioned, among other things, many missed warning signs for the Parkland shooting. Now, some schools across the country are finding their own ways to make sure they don't miss a thing. That includes using software that alerts them to troubling social media posts by their students. One school district says the tool has already helped students.
I've had some pretty serious catches where young ladies have made some claims of acts to commit self-harm.
That district has intercepted close to 20 students in crisis since adopting the program 5 years ago. While many parents support the strategy of scanning social media, the idea of scanning social media has troubled privacy advocates. The founder of the program says they are only looking at public posts and not tracking individual accounts. Well, yesterday, miners showed the Harlan County Chamber of Commerce why they believe the future is bright for coal in eastern Kentucky, despite the industry's steady decline in past years. WYMT's Taylor Upchurch talked with members who say the county's biggest assets, hardworking miners, will keep the industry alive.
Not born or raised in Appalachia, JRL Coal's general manager John Quintrell says Harlan County coal is different.
This is some of the cleanest coal that there is.
Quintrell tells Chamber of Commerce members the outlook for Harlan County coal looks promising. His company alone hired more than 250 employees, some working for other companies partnered with JRL for distribution.
That's payroll, that's taxes. It's just great for Harlan County to see this little boom of JRL coal.
Both men say while mining towns are struggling, there is hope.
We would be not telling the truth if we said that there's going to be some struggles.
They say eastern Kentucky's biggest assets will keep coal production alive.
I'm talking about hard-working people.
And John said it best, the number one asset that eastern Kentucky has are the hardest working people in the country, the grippers.
We feel like there's a lot of opportunity. We've got some contracts that go out 3 and possibly 5 years here pretty soon.
With 2 locations for miners to actively mine on and several shops, JRL Coal hopes to create a future for families in the mountains.
I don't get into politics. I don't even watch the news. But we're here to take care of these people and try and produce and take care of the people in our company as well as the people that work for us.
Open to ideas benefiting Eastern Kentucky. In Harlan County, Taylor Upchurch, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, though coal is mostly produced for power generation, Quintrell says industrial and specialty market needs will help companies like JRL survive in Eastern Kentucky. Well, the head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency is out. Brock Long made the announcement on Wednesday that he is resigning after just 2 years on the job. Last fall, Long was the subject of a Department of Homeland Security probe into whether he was misusing government resources. Homeland Security Secretary Christian Nielsen says at that time, Long would reimburse the federal government. Deputy Administrator Pete Gaynor will become the acting administrator upon Long's departure. Well, yesterday, former West Virginia State Supreme Court Justice Alan Lowry was sentenced to 2 years in prison on federal charges involving his personal use of state property and financial misjudgment of court resources. Lowry was also ordered to pay nearly $1,300 in restitution, plus a $1,000 special assessment. Furthermore, he has to pay a $10,000 fine. After release, he will be on supervised probation for 3 years. Well, Congress will vote on a bill today to fund the government before another potential shutdown goes into effect tomorrow night. As CBS's Mark Liverman reports, President Trump is not fully committed to signing the bill.
I present a privileged report.
Late last night, the House introduced an 1,100-page funding bill to avoid another partial government shutdown.
It won't be a perfect deal, but it'll be a good deal.
Congressional leaders are confident it will pass today.
It's a win for the American people. It's a compromise.
The bill includes nearly $1.4 billion for fencing along the Mexican border. That's more than some Democrats had wanted, but far less than the $5.7 billion President Trump had demanded.
I don't want to see a shutdown. Shutdown would be a terrible thing.
The president is likely to sign the bill before a Friday night deadline, though yesterday at the White House he refused to commit 100%.
We'll be looking for landmines, because you could have that.
At an event with law enforcement later in the day, Mr. Trump insisted he's going to build a wall regardless of congressional support.
And it's a big wall. It's a strong wall. It's a wall that people aren't going through very easy. They would be able to climb Mount Everest a lot easier, I think.
The president could try to use executive action to find the rest of the wall funding.
I think the national emergency declaration is definitely on the table.
Though some Republicans and most Democrats oppose that option. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
Now also in the bill, more than $1 billion in other border security programs. That includes funds to hire 1,200 Border Patrol agents, humanitarian aid for the detained migrants, and new equipment at ports of entry. Now, while we wait to see if the president accepts Congress's deal to avoid another shutdown, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says he is pushing for legislation that would keep a shutdown from ever happening again. The senator's solution is this: as soon as lawmakers miss a budget deadline, the previous spending plan gets extended, but cut by 1%. If the budget stalemate drags out, deeper cuts would follow.
To tell you the truth, I think government could permanently live on 99% of what they're spending, or maybe 98%.
Now, while Senator Paul's proposal is a long shot, if the idea becomes law, the country's longest government shutdown to date could be the last. Well, police are investigating a missing persons case out of Knox County. Take a look. Deputies say this woman, Tammy Hortense Smith, has not been seen since last Tuesday. She was last seen in Flat Lick. She is described as 45 years old, 5 foot 2 inches tall, with hazel eyes. She has tattoos on both of her arms. If you have any idea where she may be, call 606-546-3181. Well, many of you are going to be gearing up to take your Valentine out on a date tonight. Brandon has a breakdown of what to expect tonight heading into tomorrow. Brandon?
Yeah, I think we're going to be a fairly nice day today as you head out the door this morning. A little bit chilly, but the roads are calm for now. Again, keep an eye on some black ice possibilities, just like yesterday. Looking at US 119 on top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain and Buffalo Mountain as we go to the ridges this morning. The sun trying to get started in the sky. A few clouds back and forth this morning on the satellite and radar. They're kind of going to filter in and out throughout the day. Temperatures down toward London, 29 there. Same thing and at Middlesboro, but Harlan's actually up to 30, up to 36 here in Jackson and Hazard, 37 in Prestonsburg, so temperatures are going up quickly. The out the door forecast, we are going to continue to see some warmer temperatures. 59 is the forecast high today, but those clouds will increase as we head deeper into the afternoon. Will?
All righty, Brandon, thank you. Well, coming up, we appreciate you for joining us right here on WYMT. We'll have trending stories on our website coming up next. And coming up, a woman battling breast cancer finds inspiration recreating famous movie images. And a beagle in Australia adopted a baby possum after losing her litter of pups.